What is up, guys? I'm back with a new tutorial, and today we're going to be going over on how to play Chou. A lot of people have been asking me to make a tutorial for Chou, so finally here it is. I'm recording and we're gonna go over this. I'm sorry if I sound congested because I am sick at the moment. Hopefully it goes away soon. Just a little disclaimer. This is going to be a tank Chou tutorial, by the way. It's not going to be an assassin Chou. Since an assassin Chou has a different playstyle from tank Chou, I will not be doing two playstyle in one video, okay? I just want to focus on one playstyle. So that's just a disclaimer for those who just started watching this video, just to let you guys know. So first things first, I want to show you guys my credentials to show you guys my experience with Mobile Legends and with Chou. So I currently have Mythical Glory 274 stars at the moment at this season, and my maximum star was 504. My matches with Chou is 474 matches, and a decent amount of those were actually solo games as a tank Chou, so 77% is not too shabby, to be honest. Not too shabby, considering that a decent amount of those matches were solo. So to start off the tutorial, we're gonna go over the mechanics of Chou, and to do that, we are gonna go to practice mode. So to start off the mechanics tutorial, what you need to know is his first skill, which does a 3 combo.
That's the worst.
It does a 3-step combo pretty much. It does 2 slows, which is your first 2 skills. It does 2 slows when you hit enemies like that.
In the world of
and the last step is a knock. So you can knock enemies up with that last combo. Now, between those combos, there's a time interval which shows you with that blue circle once you use your first skill. It shows a blue circle. Once that blue circle does a full 360, you cannot do the full combo anymore. You cannot wait an infinite amount of time when doing the combo. So make sure you do that combo between the time interval. But if you use it the first time and use it again before it does a 360, it resets.
In the world of
the time interval resets, right? So just keep that in mind. That's super important to set people up. Now let's go over his second skill. His second skill is pretty much a dash that gives you a shield, and it immunes crowd control if you time it correctly. So if someone's about to stun you and you dash right away, as soon as he tries to stun you, perfect timing,
the man who can beat
you will not be stunned. All right. So you need to master this. It's super hard to master. You can bait out a lot of ultis for this, like for example, Kaja ulti. You can bait it out. Ruby hook. You can bait that out by dashing away. I've done it multiple times. I can show you guys. I will show you guys later when I commentate over my gameplay when I use this. So yeah. So now we're gonna go over his.
The man who can beat me
ulti.
has not been
His
born
ulti
yet.
can do 2 things: a long kick and a short kick. Most of the time, you're going to be doing a long kick when you're kicking the enemies in the correct
Boxing
direction.
is not a way to hurt somebody.
When you're kicking enemies towards your teammate, you're going to want to do a long kick, which is pressing your ulti once and waiting until the enemy reaches the maximum distance possible.
Enough. We must apply.
So you cover more ground, so it's to avoid your enemies from escaping easier. Okay. So how do you do a long kick? You press your ulti, which is your kick. And then you wait until they reach the maximum distance, boom, kick, and then follow up. That's it. It's pretty self-explanatory. But a lot of Chou players in low rank, they do short kicks. They do short kicks.
Is not enough. We must apply.
Cooldown off. They do short kicks, and if you compare it to the kick that I just did, Layla's gonna be right next to me when I press my ult twice in a row right away. Look how close that is. Compared to when Layla is right here when I did the long kick. So make sure that you master that, alright? That's very useful when kicking people into the tower. When you know the amount of distance you can cover with your kick, you can actually bait people, knock them up, boom, kick into the tower, and they're not even going to expect it that they're getting hit by the tower. So it's very, very useful. Now for the tips and tricks. I already gave you guys a tip and trick for your ulti. Tips and tricks for your dash, of course, you go to the edges of the map, the walls, and you can go over those walls, those little edges. It's really hard to do sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna faceplant, like if the wall is way too fat like this, you're gonna faceplant and you're not gonna be able to dash. So make sure you know the distance and you master the distance of when you can use this dash, alright? You can use that to set up enemies. So let's say you're in a bush and you're an enemy's right here. An enemy's right here. You're in a bush.
Somewhere.
Boom! Surprise kick towards your teammates. Easy kill, right? So you can use it in many different ways. Another tip is you can charge up your first skill before going into the enemy. So let's say an enemy's right here. Charge up your first skill into the bush. You're never gonna expect it. But
knowing is not enough.
Just a heads up, they can hear this. Not a lot of people know this. They can hear. If you're in the enemy team and I'm charging up my first skill right here, they can actually hear that when Chou's making sounds. His kung fu sounds. So make sure you, some people use sounds, but not a lot of people do. But yeah, you can charge up your first skill right here, and then dash, boom, knock up right away. Another combo kick, and then towards your teammate. That's another kill. So there's many ways to do the combo. Another way to use your combo is just baiting your teammates, baiting your enemy team. Sorry, baiting your enemy team. So let's say you're chasing an enemy, Layla, and they're super fast. Their movement speed is super fast.
Our inhibitor turret is under attack.
What you can do is you can flicker behind them and kick them. Because I recommend this because whenever you use your first skill to chase someone, they get super scared. They get super scared and they dash right away or flicker. They waste their dash right away or flicker. But to bait them out, to catch them off guard, a good thing to do is to flicker right away in front of them. I'm gonna go back to base since Curry is, you know, messing up the tutorial. I don't know what he's doing. Get out of here.
You have slain an enemy. Wiped
So
out.
that's another tip for using Chou. And there's actually some times where a lot of people have been saying, oh, don't ever kick a tank. Don't ever kick a tank, you know. There are some situations where you can kick a tank, like let's say you're camping a bush.
Empty
A lot
your
of
cup in order to
this is
fill
another
it
tip.
again.
What you can do is camp a bush. As a Chou player, you camp a bush a lot. You need to be patient. You need to be patient. So you wait until the enemy team pushes, and then as long as you know that you can reach him, you can try setting up already. Boom, knock up, and then kick towards your enemy, your friendly teammates. Okay, not enemy, not enemy. I'm sorry, not enemy. Friendly teammates.
We must apply.
So make sure you know the distance to what you can reach with your flicker and your dash and your knock up. Okay, so make sure you know that and master that. So that's pretty much it. That's all the mechanics that you need to learn from Chou, and those are the tips and tricks that I can give you. To use in ranked games and classic games if you would like.
Knowing is not enough.
We can go over the itemization now and his emblems. So let me leave this. Actually, we'll start off with the emblems. So with the emblem, you can do two things with Chou. You can either use this emblem set right here with Brave Smite, Fortress, and Shield, or use the other talent page, which is, this is wrong, this is supposed to be like this, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be like that. Shield, Fortress, and Tenacity. This really depends on your team comp, okay? If your team needs a super tank, like if you're the only tank, you're gonna want to use Tenacity. If you have another tank on your team and you're a support Chou, then you're gonna want to use Brave Smite. So it really depends on your team composition if you need a solid tank. If you need a solid tank, Tenacity. If you don't need one and you're good with just being a support, Brave Smite is the right item, the right emblem to use. And why did I choose Shield and Fortress for my first and second talent? I'm gonna explain to you guys. So I chose Shield for the first talent, for the first row. That's because mages are usually stronger in the early game. All right, in the early game, mages are usually stronger. Now for marksmen, they're usually stronger. In the late game, they output more damage late game. So percentage wise, if you notice, the first row gives you straight up points, plus 12, doesn't have a percentage, alright? The second row gives you percentage, which is magical defense 2.5% and physical defense 8%, depending on if you level it up. So percentage wise, it's gonna scale better late game, and then like pure points wise is gonna scale better early game. That's why I put magical defense plus 12 for the first row and Fortress 8% for the second row. Just want to explain that to you guys, since a lot of tutorials, they don't ever explain anything. They just give you the emblem set and they don't explain why they chose that. So that is why I chose that. Okay, and for Brave Smite, this gives you a 5 HP back when you crowd control an enemy, but it does have a cooldown of 10 seconds. So it's really useful for Chou, who has like so much crowd control. So you're gonna have a lot of sustain, and you're gonna be hard to kill when people are chasing you. Now for tenacity, since if you only use this talent if you don't have a tank, or if you really need a solid tank, since you're harder to kill when you're being focused at, since you're the only front line, when your health is below 40, you gain 35 points of physical and magical defense. You need that to be a solid front line. If you have Brave Smite and you're the only tank, yes, you do have sustain, but it's not going to be enough because you're going to die right away anyways, since you're the only front line and they're going to focus you, okay? So make sure you keep that in mind and know which emblem to use depending on the situation. Now, let's go over the spells. The only spell that I use on Chou is Flicker. I don't really use anything unless there's a new meta that happens. I can update you guys with that, but for now, with this current meta, almost probably all the Chou, except for like really low ranked Chous, they use Flicker. High ranked Chous use Flicker, majority of them, okay? Now let's go into the equipment. We're gonna go over this equipment right here. So the very top equipment set is my full tank set. The middle one is my fighter set, and the bottom one is my full damage set. We're gonna ignore the one all the way down to the bottom, since this is a tutorial for full tank and fighter Chou. Okay, so for the top, I use assist boots just to get more gold. Sometimes I even get more gold than my carries, just because of these assist boots. If I rotate really well and I get a lot of kill participation, this assist boots would really help you build up your items and stuff without needing all those kills. All right, just with those assists, that gold will stack up and make you rich. The second item is Curse Helmet. Like I explained earlier, people might wonder like why do tanks build magic defense like first instead of armor? The only tank that I know that builds armor first is Johnson, because Johnson has a passive where if you build armor, you get a shield. When his passive reaches, when he's low health, you get a shield. Based off his shield is based off his armor. He's the only tank that I know that builds armor first, unless the enemy team is full physical attack. If your enemy is full physical attack, please change your items. Do not build magical defense if your enemy is all physical damage. Now, if your enemy is also the other way around, full magic damage, do not build physical defense. You don't need it. You're just gonna waste an item, all right? So build something else and find something that would help you depending on the situation. That's gonna be on you. But most of the situations, the enemy team is going to have a mix of magical damage and physical damage. For the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to use a build based off that, alright? So we're not going to be focusing on all physical damage enemy team or all magical damage enemy team. We're going to be focusing on a mix. So we first build Curse Helmet. Like I said, for mages early game, they hurt more than marksmen, since marksmen need to build up their items. Building magical defense first in the early game would benefit you better. And why did I pick Curse Helmet? Curse Helmet is pretty much for wave clear. It helps you with the wave clear, and the faster you wave clear, let's say if you're alone on the lane and you wave clear faster than the enemy team, especially that you're a tank, most tanks do not wave clear fast. But for Chou, since you have Curse Helmet, you'll wave clear that much faster. And you can rotate a lot faster than you're laning out the enemy that you're laning against, which will help you on the rotation, and you can help your teammates on the other lanes. Okay, and for the next item, I use Brute Force Breastplate, which gives you some movement speed whenever you use your basic attack and whenever you cast a skill, which can stack up to 5 layers, and it lasts 4 seconds. Okay, it also increases your physical and magic defense by 4%. This item is actually super good just overall. It's pretty OP, to be honest, compared to like if you want to do full tank, you can do Demon's Advent, but that gives you HP regen as well. Yeah, if you want to be more tanky, you can use Demon's Advent. And then, but This is really good for Chou since you want to chase down enemies with that increased movement speed that's given to you with the item's passive, alright? So that's going to be your physical defense. That's going to be the second item, second core item for Chou after that magical item, Curse Helmet. An alternative for Curse Helmet, if you want to be more tanky, is going to be Athena's Shield. Alright, that's an alternative. Just to let you guys know if you guys are going against a magic damage enemy team. So, but for the sake of the tutorial, we'll stick with this one. Now, for the third item, it's going to be Wings of Apocalypse, which reduces the damage taken by 50%. Okay, but this has a cooldown of 50 seconds. That cooldown might seem like a long time, but most of the team fights that happen late game don't happen until like a minute after. Plus, this passive doesn't proc unless you're 40% health or below. Okay, so it doesn't proc until you have 40% health or below. So it's gonna make you harder to kill. Enemy team is gonna have a hard time killing you, and it actually gives you a lot more cooldown reduction as well. So you can use your kick more often. Gives you a little bit of physical attack, so your first skill and your punch hurts more, and a lot of HP, so you're harder to kill. Now for the next item, I used Thunderbelt. What I do with this is, for your first skill, if you remembered, you can use it 3 times, and between those 3 times you have a time interval. Between those time interval, you can actually basic attack the enemy team, and you can use Thunderbelt's passive for that by slowing them down. So you slow them down with your first skill, basic attack, the Thunderbelt will proc, and it'll slow them down. So what this does is whenever you use a skill, and then you basic attack an enemy, they will pretty much slow them down for 1.5 seconds, okay? But it does have a cooldown as well. It can only be used every 1.5 seconds. So keep that in mind. And it's super good. This gives you cooldown reduction, some more physical defense, some mana. Your mana regen, since Chou doesn't have mana, just ignore that. But we're going for the passive here. It's not the stats of the item. We're going for the passive, and it does give you HP. So it makes you a lot more tanky. Now for the last item, it's gonna be Immortality. Immortality. It's super important for every tank to have Immortality in case you get caught. Actually, like for every heroes, and if you in tournaments, if you've noticed, Immortality is really important because it just gives you that delay of killing you. When enemies kill you, there's that delay of you reviving, and it gives your teammates a chance to help you out and keep you alive, right? So that's super good. Immortality is super good. Now we'll go over the fighter item set, which is pretty much the same thing, but the only difference is Endless Battle instead of Thunderbelt, and movement speed boots, rapid boots. So why did I use rapid boots? Since you're a fighter, you should have when using this build, I recommend using this build when you have another tank with you. Never use this build if you need a solid tank, since you're gonna be way too squishy if you use this build and you don't have a solid front line. So for rapid boots, you need this just to chase your enemy down. You're a lot faster than everyone else. You can rotate faster, help other people on the other lanes. And Curse Helmet, same thing. I don't have to explain that again. The only thing that I need to explain on this build is the Endless Battle and why did I change the order. So now for Endless Battle, it's pretty much like Thunderbelt, but the only difference is it does true damage. Instead of a slow, it does true damage to the enemy team after you use a skill. Okay. When you basic attack an enemy after using a skill, it does true damage, which does a lot of damage. Especially if you take advantage of it with your first skill. Like let's say you use your first skill once, punch, first skill once, punch again, first skill another time, knock up, punch, and then dash, kick, and then punch again. That's a lot of true damage stacked up. So if you do the combo correctly, if you take advantage of that passive, super strong. And that's the only thing you need to input that little bits of damage that your team needs, okay? I put that before Wings of Apocalypse since you're gonna wanna, since you already have physical and magical defense right here before Endless Battle, you should be tanky enough as a fighter to engage for your teammates and do a decent amount of damage. And that's why, so Wings of Apocalypse would go after Endless Battle. And Immortality, don't have to explain that again since I already explained it to you. The previous build, So that is it for the builds. Now, what we can go over is the gameplay. So I'm gonna show you guys a gameplay, and I'm gonna commentate over it and explain to you guys why I do what I do. So the laning phase, the rotation, and why I did this. Okay. So next we'll go over the gameplay, and we can skip this since we don't need to know that. So on the current meta right now, what people usually do is they do 2 people mid lane with the mage or an assassin, and they help the mage or that assassin get to level 4 as fast as possible. Okay. So what you want to do is go to this bush, and you can try to catch an enemy off guard, but at this point Lunox showed himself, so it doesn't matter. We're just gonna wave clear as fast as possible and help him to do the blue. Now this is super important. To get your mage or assassin to level 4 first, you need to give that little minion. Do you see this little minion right here? You need to give that and make sure that your carries last hit that. It's super important. That's why I ran away for a second. You see that? Make sure your mages last hit that. Every XP counts. And look at his XP bar compared to mine. That little XP right there, that little minion and that big minion makes a difference right there. See? And he's already level 3, and I just hit level 3 once I killed those minions. We saw enemies being over aggressive on this bot lane right here, so we decided to rotate. That is just based off map awareness and game knowledge. These guys are only level 1. We knew we could fight him. He can't do anything. So, and once we killed 2 enemies, we were sure that we can secure Crab without anybody contesting, since Cloud is just dead, and his other teammate is dead, and they just revived right now, and they cannot catch up when we kill the Crab. Crab is actually super important, which low ranks do not take advantage of. High ranks take advantage of this Crab. That Crab gives you a lot of gold and gives you a lot of XP. And right here, this is a good example of me utilizing my second skill, catching Gushin off guard right here. He panicked and I knocked him up. He doesn't know what to do, and we get another kill for my mage. And he's already level 4, so he can snowball from here. I see Selena getting in trouble, and I'm gonna go rotate down below. But I was way too late since I was helping mid lane. So all I can do is pretty much try to wave clear a little bit so they can't push and scare him off. And now that I am level 4, I see them fighting in the jungle right there. So I actually did not finish that wave. So I come into the jungle, try to help, and then just in the correct timing, Gushin shows up. I see him in the map, and luckily I knocked him up. I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing. I shouldn't have gotten him there. Yeah, I shouldn't have gotten there. He was already level 4. He could have ulted out and teleported away. But luckily, he was not that good. And after that pick, we knew that Gushin was dead, so we took advantage of it. Again, low ranks don't take advantage of objectives. Turtle is another big objective, and it helps your team a lot. So compared to Crab is super important early game. Early game super important. But you know, during this mid game, turtles are super important. And right here, again, I utilized my second skill, and we get another kill on Ruby right here. So those are some combos that you can use when using your second skill and your first skill. Okay, you can use it in many ways. And right here, I actually messed up right here. I forgot to mention earlier, the Curse Helmet passive, it damages enemies when you're near them. So this is why this tower aggroed me right here without me basic attacking Hayabusa. Right there, see? It aggroed me without me basic attacking him. And I actually messed up right there. That was a mistake, and I messed up, but we did get a trade. It's super important to know that if you're a Chou player, if you're a tank Chou player, do not be scared to die as long as you get a trade. Okay, if you compare what just happened, Hayabusa died. He's a carry. He's supposed to be farming constantly. And I'm a tank. I'm a tank Chou. I don't need to be farming. As long as my carries get fed, which is Hanabi got the I think it was a Bauman that got the kill, actually, not me. Not Hanabi. So as long as they get fed, that's fine for me. Your team is winning. And right here, this is a good example of me canceling Cloud's ulti with my knockup. So that's super good. You can actually also cancel other ultis like Akai. When Akai ultis, when he's spinning, if you time it correctly and knock him up, his ulti gets cancelled. So keep that in mind. And actually, Minotaur's ulti can get cancelled as well if you time it correctly. It's super hard though. Minotaur ulti is super hard to cancel. And right here, Another tip for you guys is zoning. It's called zoning. When you go towards an enemy without being scared and you're just straight up confident. Look at this. I just baited Ruby's ult by just dashing and sidestepping. That's it. So no more Ruby ulti for this team fight for the next 12 seconds or so, or 15 seconds, depending on Ruby's cooldown. And look at it. I'm just scaring Gushin away. He already used his ulti. We secured turtle. They could not even contest. Look at Gushin. He's so scared. He doesn't even know what to do. So this is a good, a good way of zoning. It's called zoning. And I see right here, I saw Lunox was about to die, so I flickered in and tried to help him out. And I saved my teammates. We get 2 kills right there. Easy. Lunox gets to live. Lunox is alive right there. And we get 2 kills. Luckily, he did have light farm anyway, so I think he would have lived either way. But it was just for secure. So we secured that he's alive. I just kicked Gushin away. Right here, I'm trying to bait out Ruby's ulti, and I knew that we can get the tower, so I just fronted it and took the damage. Right there, just by fronting, just by being confident and knowing the output of the damage, that damage output that the enemy can put to me, knowing that he can't kill me, I just wasted a flicker from Ruby. So no more flicker for Ruby. And right here, I'm just trying to knock up. I actually realized that Hayabusa uses a shadow, and his shadow has a time interval like Chou, when you don't use your shadow in a specific time interval, he cannot shadow out. That's why I kicked him. So you really need to know these little things. So knowing your enemy's skills can really help you in team fights, and knowing their cooldown. So that's why it's super good to learn. Not just one it's good to learn not just one hero. It's good to learn multiple heroes and know what they do. And just by me having the knowledge, I don't even play Hayabusa that much, but I know his skills. Just by me knowing the knowledge that Hayabusa has a time interval between those shadows, helped me out by killing him and kicking him, right? So we saw that he got a pick bot lane, and we did get this another objective, as you can notice. Look at me fronting all the time. Fronting, zoning, fronting. Goshen wasted an ult already, and I don't even care if he hit me with his first kill. He doesn't have enough damage to kill me. Look at this. We get no more ulti for Goshen, another objective. That's also another way of taking advantage of people's cooldowns when you bait people's ulti out. When they don't have any more ulti, it's a dramatic change on team fights. And that is one exception to kick a tank. One exception to kick a tank. When you know you can kill a tank, kick him. You don't always have to kick a carry all the time. There's also some situations where you can kick a tank, like what I just did right there. And right here, I knew that I was low, but again, I'm not scared to die for my team. I'm not scared to die. As long as we get that kill, I ain't scared. I just want to, get more objectives. And I saw Hayabusa pushing right here. We actually had a hard time on Hayabusa this whole game since he was split pushing. And nobody could go against him. So I was trying to rotate and, keep track of him. But he's super hard to catch since he has those shadows. And he actually gets fed later on. Bauman cannot go against him, right? Bauman doesn't have enough damage output, doesn't have crowd control to chase Hayabusa down. And for me, I don't have enough damage as well since I'm a full tank. So, yeah, we had a hard time on Hayabusa for this specific game. And a lot of people, like I said earlier, I talked about the emblems. If you notice, before the game started, I did have the tenacity talent set. That's because we have a Bauman, and I'm the only frontline, if you notice. Bauman cannot frontline since he doesn't have a lot of crowd control. And right here, what I do is pretty much just try to bait out enemies. I try to bait out enemies ulti and knock up some people. You can go in and out. You don't have to front all the time. As long as you hit that knockup, that's all that matters. Do as much crowd control for your team so it benefits you in the team fight and on the long run. Right here, I see someone getting stunned again. I go in, dash out. All I need to do is knock up. And this is an example of when to use your ulti towards your enemy base. Yes. When you know that they have a chance of running away, since Ruby has a dash, I kicked him right away so that my team can kill her. Okay. So that's an example of an exception of you kicking an enemy towards their base. There's exceptions. You don't have to kick him towards your team all the time. Okay? So it really varies on the situation. And I believe Lunox gets in trouble right here. This is called peeling, where you protect. This is another goal by you. This is your job to protect your carries. So I see him light form. He's in trouble. I'm trying to protect him as much as possible and delay for him. That doesn't mean peeling doesn't mean you have to die for your teammates all the time. Peeling means just to delay the enemy team so that they can't kill your carries. And right here, actually, this is a good example of utilizing my second skill again. Right there, I baited Ruby's ult. No more ulti for Ruby. I baited Goshen's ult with the shield. Couldn't kill me with the second skill. So if you really master Chou, this is... I'm not saying I mastered him. I have many things to work on, but if you really master Chou, you can utilize all these skills super efficiently and help your team win. You can even carry as a tank Chou, so it's super good. And you might be wondering why usually you don't want to chase this Hayabusa, but since I see in the map that Bauman is on the other side, I chased him. Bauman actually messes up right here. I short kick Hayabusa, but he misses the ulti right there by an inch. Right there, he misses the ulti, and I kind of got I get triggered because that was supposed to be an easy kill, and Hayabusa got away. He was the only one carrying the team. If he was dead, we could have done Lord. Hanabi is doing Lord anyways. He doesn't care. And when I saw Hanabi doing Lord, I'm trying to keep them away from Lord as much as possible. Trying to delay. Look at this. Trying to delay them. Trying to keep them away. Trying to make sure that they don't even go close. I do kick Ruby there, but hopefully, yep, we did get Lord before the team fight even happens. The enemy team did really bad on this team fight, and you might be wondering why. Look at 2 people are on me. I'm a tank. I'm a full tank. And they're chasing. Look at my carries. They're alone over there. They don't have any pressure on them. At this point, I delayed them as much as possible, and I've already done my job. I'm not even mad that I died. My team got the kill. Hanabi could have lived right here. I don't know why she didn't micro. Microing is kiting, where you run away while you're basic attacking. She just stood still, so I'm pretty sure she had a chance to live if she played that correctly. So, and we have the Lord pushing right here. So, yes, that's another heads up for you guys. It's okay to die as a tech. That is your goal. Not the goal, but like to achieve your goal, it's okay to die. Sometimes dying would benefit your team. Sometimes it's a sacrifice for your team to benefit your team. Lunox is super fed right here since we had super good rotation throughout the game. And he actually gets a triple kill, I believe, right here. Look at this. He's disrespecting the enemy team. He doesn't even care. He's so ahead. Boom, triple kill. And I don't even think he dies from Ruby. Ruby cannot do enough damage. He's insane. Here we go. I tried kicking Ruby away from Lunox, thinking that that's another way of peeling him, but Hayabusa ended up 2v1ing Bauman and Lunox, if you noticed. I didn't think Hayabusa would kill Lunox that fast, so, sometimes it's a mistake, miscalculation. I could have peeled for Lunox right there, but I decided to kick Ruby just to keep the crowd control away from Lunox, not thinking that Hayabusa would be able to kill my teammates. But that's alright, that's alright. And right here, they actually used like 3 ultis on me. Look at Minotaur ulti, Ruby ulti, Goshen ulti, and I actually protect my Hanabi right here by kicking Cloud. Not gonna be able to use damage on him. Yep, not gonna be able to use damage on Hanabi when he's kicked. And we get 2 kills right there, double kill for Hanabi. So just these little things that you could do as a tank to benefit your team. Hanabi overstayed right there. I couldn't help him. And again, utilizing my second skill. I use it for a sidestep so Goshen doesn't hit me with the first skill. And I actually managed to kick Hayabusa right here. But I died. Look at this. My kick proc and Bauman misses again. Misses another easy ulti after my kick. It's insane. I don't know why. I actually got triggered from it. And but that's alright. I mean, the first ulti, I was like, alright, you can miss one time. But the second time he missed, I was like, oh my god, come on, man, you can't be missing this. And Lunox and Bauman gets messed up right here. Hayabusa was super fed. He was the only one carrying the enemy team. And yeah, they get caught right here. Lunox gets overconfident and gets caught, gets Minotaur ultied and everything. Look at this. They get set. And if you notice right here, for me as a true player, my job is to protect my team. And I see Hanabi right here solo. He's not supposed to be doing that. What is this guy doing? He's already mythic. This is like how to position wrong 101. This is so bad. But what I did was follow her. To protect her. And I baited her right here. I tried to bait her because I know Hayabusa was around this area. And once I saw Hayabusa, I came in and baited him. And I actually caught him off guard. So I knew on my stream, if you guys heard me on my stream, if you guys were watching that certain stream, I was speaking in Tagalog that, man, he's not supposed to be soloing, so I'm gonna go next to her, right? So those little things would really help you improve your true gameplay. And then right here, I saw Hanabi pushing by herself, I was thinking like, oh, she could finish the game if I delay the enemy team. That's why I'm kicking Gushin all over the place. But she died. Cloud killed her actually, so we couldn't finish the game. So I backed off right here. I'm trying to see if I can follow up with Selena, trying to help her out and see if she can get another kill. But since we knew that we don't have enough damage output to finish the game, we just backed off. Bauman actually gets caught right here, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm trying to finish the game. I immuned a little bit of that crowd control from Minotaur. Knock up, but it's not going to do anything. I get really low. I don't want to waste my immortality, so I back away. I couldn't help Bauman over there. But right here, I actually bait Hayabusa using my second skill right here. Knock up, second skill, boom, ulti. He gets caught again, boom. Super good. So there's many ways you can outplay people with your skills, alright? It doesn't matter if you're a tank, think about the little things to help your team, your teammates, to win the game. The most important thing is the win. And once we got that Hayabusa pick, we could do another objective, which is the Lord. Super important. Right here, I knew that my teammates could do Lord by themselves, so I'm gonna do a little bit of damage and try to zone away if anybody's gonna come. And right here, as soon as I saw that stun, I knew I was gonna kick Gushin into that Hanabi ulti. Boom! They can't go anywhere. Three people Hanabi ulti, 3-man Hanabi ulti, and after that, it's done. Cloud couldn't do anything, and that's GG. Teammates, the enemy team reporting after dying. Hayabusa is not gonna be able to defend right here. Not enough damage. He's going to be alone against 3 of us, so that's going to be GG. So guys, that is it for the gameplay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you guys learned something from this tutorial. If you guys have any feedback, this is my first ever in-depth tutorial for a hero. So if you guys have any feedback, please have a respectful, constructive criticism below, please, in the comment section. Don't say... I don't want any disrespect. I just want us to respect each other. I'm also a person. If you respect me, I respect you. So please be respectful in the comment section below and give me some feedback if I need to work on something better when doing these tutorials and what you want me to change. So again, hopefully you guys learned something from this tutorial. If you guys have any questions, make sure to put that in the comment section below. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video if you guys learned something. And I'll see you guys. Peace!